It must be quite an exciting time to be Jamie Chadwick.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sort of in, yeah, quite an exciting sort of period of the year actually. I think, yeah, finally W Series has got going. Obviously, extremely. My season started a bit earlier in the year, but now it feels like we're fully in and amongst the season, and we've got two races already under our belt. So yeah, it's a kind of exciting time to be sort of heading into the middle of what feels like the season, although it's only just begun.
And obviously you got a race win under your belt, one race win in Austria. You lead the championship as reigning champion. How good was it to win out in Austria and bang that champagne down on the podium?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, from my perspective, I always wanted to start the season strong. Unfortunately, we had a double header, and the first weekend of the double header, we suffered some issues. So, yeah, I guess I went into the second weekend with a little bit more fire in my belly, a little bit more to prove I felt, and yeah, to have what felt like almost a perfect weekend. Yeah, it was just a big relief to be honest. But also, yeah, just I think really sets the mark for where I want, the championship to go for me this year. And yeah, I think nice time to be heading into my home Grand Prix as well.
I was going to say it's the perfect kind of run into Silverstone for you. How does it feel taking W Series to Silverstone in front of that kind of F1 platform and all the fans that will be there?
Yeah, I really can't wait. I experienced my first proper British Grand Prix several years ago, but I was there in 2019 with Williams. And I think just to see, all the British fans, the love for motorsport we have in this country at what for me is one of the best circuits on the calendar. Yeah, really, really can't wait. And to know that it's going to be full capacity with fans as well and be racing on that same weekend is going to be, yeah, pretty special.
So tell me preparation. What do you do to make sure you are ready for Silverstone?
Yeah, I think the preparation in W Series is really, really important because we don't actually have that much track time. We'll have one half an hour practice session, then qualifying, and then one race. So yeah, really, the more I can do beforehand, the better. And I think, yeah, fortunately, Silverstone's a track I know quite well. I've raced there, in all sorts of different categories on the way up. So I'm going to take as much knowledge I can from the past, but also, be working as hard as I can, whether that's on the simulator or in the gym beforehand to make sure that, we can hit the ground running when we get there.
Tell me about your training. What do you do to get yourself into shape for being a motorsport driver?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the training side of it's one of the biggest parts. I think people don't really realize how physical motorsport is. And actually, it's something I've struggled with a lot, yeah, in my career throughout, not being strong enough to drive some of the cars that I've been racing in. So yeah, a lot of it is gym and strength work, getting strong upper body, shoulders, neck, in particular to sort of withstand the forces of the car. But also, I'm quite lucky. I really enjoy cycling and the cardio element. So that's something that I do alongside. That's also important, particularly when going to hot race weekends, which I'm not too sure if Silverstone's going to be a hot weekend, but yeah, if it is, hopefully I'll be prepared.
Take me back. We talk about Silverstone. You've competed there a lot, obviously, as you say, in all the different classes, and you've done quite a lot of different classes. But what's your first memory of going to Silverstone, maybe as a fan or as a competitor?
I first went to Silverstone. I think I properly drove a racing car at Silverstone. So I did my to get your license to race in cars. I did it when I was 13 to race in the Jetta Juniors. So I first went there, and that was the first time I went to Silverstone. And there's they call it the Stowe circuit. So anyone knows where Stowe Corner is. I don't know what the corner number is, but yeah, just behind that they've got a little circuit, and yeah, that's where I did my arts license to get my first chance to race in Gillette Juniors. And then it was the first actual track I drove was the Silverstone, the full GP loop. And I remember I was 14 and I couldn't remember for half of the day. I could barely remember my way around because it's quite a long track. But yeah, it's quite exciting to now be going back with a little bit more experience and knowing where it goes, of course, yeah, in a W Series car as well.
That's crazy that 10 years later you're going back there to compete on an F1 weekend. Your association, obviously, with Williams as well as one of their development drivers. Do you sometimes pinch yourself at the journey you've been on over the last 10 years?
Yeah, massively. More like the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years, because it really has gone from being, yeah, something that was a hobby initially, to now being, massively, something that is now more of a career. So I'm been amazed at, the turn it's taken. I'm very, very fortunate to be in the position I'm in. And yeah, I think it's just, sometimes pinch myself moments, to have had the opportunities that I've had.
Silverstone is a massive part of any British motor racing and sports family. Just tell me what it's going to be like, or what you expect it to be like driving there, racing at Silverstone.
I mean, for me, Silverstone's one of the best circuits to race at. It's got a bit of everything as a track, but also I think, in the cars that we're racing in, it's going to promote really close and good racing. So I think that's really exciting. Also, obviously, with some home support, I think, in the fans there, it's going to be even more special. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's definitely going to be a highlight on the calendar for us all, but yeah, for us Brits especially, I think.
Do you enjoy flying the kind of female flag? Because obviously being part of Extreme E, which is a mixed championship, very different from being part of W Series, which is promoting female drivers. So it's kind of a funny mix, isn't it? But you have been kind of made a poster girl for driving in the future and for females that want to come through. Are you happy in that sort of post?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, I don't think too much about. I'm still very fixated and focused on what I'm doing, and what I want to achieve. And then I think everything else comes sort of second to that. But, I do take responsibility in making sure that we can do the best job we can in promoting women in the sport. And I really have a positive feeling within me as to, where I can see the future going for women in our sport. So I take a lot of pride with that, but at the same time, I'm very focused on what I want to achieve individually, within the sport.
And what is that? What's the future for Jamie Chadwick?
Ultimately I want to race at the top level. I want to be a world champion racing at the highest level of motorsport. And yeah, of course, Formula One is still the ultimate goal. But I think if you look at the way that I've kind of got into Extreme E and other championships, I think I don't want to leave, anything off the table in terms of opportunities and, different types of, motorsport that there is available to me.
And just finally, for anybody who's listening to this, who might be coming to Silverstone, to the British Grand Prix, and who'll see you in action, what words would you advise? What words of advice would you give to anyone who's kind of young and wants to be in motorsport, especially if they're a young girl listening?
I think don't let anything stop you. For me, I feel like I'm a good example of someone that, motorsport really took me by surprise. It wasn't ever on the agenda for me to be a racing driver when I was younger. And I just happened to fall in love with the sport and happened to have some incredible opportunities on the way up. So I think, if it's something that interests you, don't let anything stop you. Do your research, see if there's opportunities to go karting nearby or whatever it is. And I think also don't limit, motorsport just as a driver. There's so many different, job opportunities available in motorsport, and it's a fantastic sport to be a part of, and really is, especially in the UK, such a centre of excellence. So yeah, definitely, if you're interested in it, give it a go, because you might be lucky like me and find something that, you really do love and are fortunate to do, as a career.
Have you changed your passport now? Does it say racing driver in there as your profession?
No, I don't think it probably does. Do you have to put your profession on your passport?
Yeah, well, you should do if you fill in the back page.
There you go. I used to always say it like taxi drivers and stuff, because it's always too much of a complicated answer. So I always used to say student. So now I don't know if I can get away with saying student anymore.
You can always get away with saying student. You're very lucky. Jamie Chadwick, it's lovely speaking to you. Good luck at Silverstone. Good luck with all of your driving this year. We wish you the very best.
Great. Thanks so much, Jenny.